Hi, everyone. Hope everything is going well for everyone. Just wanted to share a few things. I've kind of been, guess, working through forgiveness this week, particularly towards my father. Excuse me. Now, since my awakening last August, I finally understood why we are born into like toxic families or abusive families or why certain traumas happen. So always confused because I felt like I just never fit in anywhere with my family or anywhere, or always felt like just not belong in anywhere. Like I'm a kind of a mutt of several cultures, not in the past, but like in this life. And just never felt like I belonged anywhere. I just hopped around trying to find something for me. And always felt there's just nobody in the family that I felt even safe with. So when the awakening happened, I started seeing from a spiritual perspective that we all sort of come with a plan or a design that everybody's kind of have a contract with each other. So my family has a contract with me that they're going to be as toxic as possible because that toxicity helps with my spiritual growth. Like part of being a light worker is one of the biggest lessons that I've been learning is to be independent, to stand alone against all, kind of like, let's say, Christ had to stand against so many who opposed him, or Buddha against armies. So this sense of independence has already been kind of ingrained in me since early adulthood. Well, actually, most of my life, because it just felt like I growing up, I spent a lot of time by myself. Then adulthood, I moved out. I know in the US, it doesn't mean much. You're supposed to move out, but in my culture, you're not. And I moved out, I was 20, I think, to live with a guy, and then 23 to live on my own. And then I lived on my own for 14 years, which is really not done that much in my culture. So all of these things taught me independence. It gave me a chance to step away from everything and look at things objectively, and to learn how to take care of myself, to learn how to problem solve, to learn how not to be like this helpless victim like my mom. I like she, she doesn't even want to understand how the what do you think the device is called, for the central air? I don't know what it's called. I just know you just press a button. And she doesn't even want to know that, like how to use it. I don't even understand like the basics. It's like a choice to be helpless and dependent on a guy. And I went the other way to, like, I just had this thought at an early 20s, like, I want to be fully independent. I want to know, it's like, not that I'm against men, but I felt like it's important for us to know how to stand alone. It's important for us to rely on others as well, to know how to, but I felt like it was really important to learn how to take care of yourself, to problem solve, to be an adult, which was stressful. It's hard. Took a lot of pressure because I wasn't really prepared for that. And there was like constant sabotage from my culture that people trying to pull me back, like, you're not supposed to do that, you're supposed to just get married. Like, why do you need to do all of those things? Just get a husband. So why do all these things happen, right? So I'm not going to go through all the details. I'm just processing. I've noticed. So again, we have this contract with our family members, and they're basically going to be as toxic as possible. So, and what I notice is that when my energy with my dad gets kind of comfy, a whole week he gets toxic. So he's having like a toxic week. Things were calm relatively for a while, and then whatever it is, and it's just every day. I just, my anger is coming up for him, and I just seriously have like thoughts of violence. And so I was releasing a lot. I was like watching videos, and God helps us to process things in different ways. He sends us dreams, sends fantasies. Like I have a tendency to have fantasies, usually in the morning or in the evening in bed, when my mind just kind of plays out a hypothetical scenario, and usually plays out on a theme of my particular hurt or trauma or fear. So a lot of time it's having to do with men, like me being afraid that I'm going to get hurt physically, emotionally, I'll be abandoned, I'll be rejected, those kind of fantasies. And in the past, I was judging it because I thought, this is pathetic to have these kind of fantasies. But now I'm seeing this is just another way to release that energy. So I just, just write it out, release it, cry it out, whatever. Same thing with dreams. They're not there like, a lot of times I think psychologists are like, oh, don't put too much stuck in dreams. I really feel like dreams are a way for the higher dimensions to communicate with us. Like I've seen messages through dreams, like symbolic type of dreams. I've seen entities working on my energy. And I've seen concrete dreams acting out something traumatic that I'm dealing with in this life, particularly with my family. And emotions that I have a hard time expressing in the physical, I'm able to express in the dream and release it. So, it feels unpleasant, but it's like, it's a perfect opportunity. So why waste it? So it's like once this unpleasant dream happens, it's like I'm partially awake, but I recognize, okay, just write it out, release all of this. And another way, of course, God sends people, always directs me to videos. So I've been watching this guy, Christian comedian, for the past couple of days. And it's like everything, he's like a combination of comedy and pastor, I guess. And everything he says was just so on point. It's just so good. And so everything that I'm processing right now. And he was talking about fathers, like a whole show about fathers. And it was like so interesting that he said, if you're fixated on your horizontal father, you can't be part of your vertical father. Like if you're so fixated on the father that didn't do this or that or the other, then how are you going to notice the father that is there for you 24/7, is always talking to you? Like one of my many pains about my dad is that he's not communicated at all. Like you can't really talk to him. And even like when I noticed like we can chat maybe a couple of times so far in 2 years about politics because of everything that's going on. And even that gets sabotaged. I won't go into how, but I was like, ugh, you can't even give me a few minutes. Like, no, detach. Like, I can't even have a few minutes to know what it feels like just to have a conversation with my dad. Nothing. What was I saying? So yeah, and another is looking from a perspective. Well, if my father wasn't so distant and so toxic, I wouldn't have went away and learned how to be independent. So it's like this, it's looking at yourself, what did you become because your dad was however he was. And a lot of people carry the pain, but you like me, but looking from a perspective of what, because your dad was the way he was, that was the sole contract. That was the agreement before that, so that you can become who you are meant to be. That's the agreement that was made with everyone around me. They are however they are, so that I can become who I am meant to be. And it's a very hard thing to accept because a lot of times all I want is just like a normal family. Because I also don't even have an idea that even that much of what I'm meant to be. Like, I only have inklings because it's only been like a year since my awakening started. So, and it's been a miserable year, like for all of us. So it's like, there's just going to be more. So right now, it just feels like there's just more of this. I mean, there's been a lot of like interesting stuff happening for sure. I've been blessed. But since I have no idea of what 5D really feels and looks like, all I know is pain. It's just we're going through one portal to another, and it's always pain. In the middle of the night is pain. Like, I'm barely sleeping. So it kind of pulls you down and pulls you back. So hearing stuff like that was really really helpful. There's just, yeah, I'm seeing lots of threes lately. Yeah, so it's quite hard. Here's another example of how God is just, so I work from home. I work with clients like this on Zoom. And because of the summer, the client, it's kind of typical. The same thing happened last summer, that my caseload gradually dwindled. And around this time, it's probably like the lowest because kids are just going back to school. So parents don't have time. People don't have time to look for services. And also last year we were full lockdowns, like most schools were homeschooled, or, online, and now a lot of kids are going face to face. So now I'm getting nervous. Am I going to have enough clients anymore? I don't know where I'm being guided now. So I got an email of a potential school contract that's online. So I set up an interview for today. And then, but I'm still losing my clients, and there was a client that I'm sad about losing because I was covering a maternity leave. So this client is going back to the therapist, and I was kind of sad about it. I wanted to keep him because I like we're doing that work also. And I just kind of asked God if he can send me another client that's with the same diagnosis. And guess what happens? At the time of the interview, I get an email saying that we're canceling because we already filled the spots. And I get another email from from the company that I'm already signed up with, that a client just signed up with me who has the diagnosis that I was looking for around the same time. So God is talking to us so many ways. It's pretty funny. So but it's really hard to listen because and it's a matter of like holding on to that faith that God will take care of it. And it's hard to know, is God is sending me this way? Because I, with these emails that I received about the school position, I thought maybe God has got me here because thought this would be better for me. But at the same time, like it actually wouldn't be better for me because I don't like that type of work. I was just gonna take it because security. So God is like, nope, have faith. The same thing happened last year, and then everything worked out really well. So, but it's hard to like keep that faith when you don't know what's really going on. It's walking through the unknown a lot, walking through the fog, and it's just constantly. So it's kind of a unsettling feeling, but things just start popping up. Things just start happening. It's not linear. So, yeah. Our Heavenly Father is unpredictable. We can't control it. We can't predict. We don't know what He's going to do. He's going to do what's the best thing for us, but we don't know what it is. The Earth Father is pretty predictable. Like, it's pretty predictable how my dad is. Like, I already know his temperament. He has a routine, he has a schedule. That's pretty predictable. And maybe that's why we hold on to the physical, because the physical is predictable. But our Heavenly Father, He has His own vision, and He knows what is best. And we're just kind of just sit and let Him do the work. He says, go right, go right. He says, go left, go left. He says, go straight, go straight. Every little step of the way.